Of Linmeyer in Johannesburg are demanding answers amid prolonged power outages in the area. Newzroom Afrika's Zola Sholwana is following the story for us. She joins us from Linwood. So a short while ago you spoke to a resident who detailed the toll the outages are taking on their livelihoods, but for some this is a matter of life and death. How so?
Yes, indeed, Juju. They spoke about the seriousness of these unplanned power cuts, saying that it has gotten to a point where those who have family members that rely on oxygen, they now have to, take them to hospital because there's no other way. Now, let me introduce someone who actually is intensely or rather immensely affected by these unplanned power cuts. Ma'am, thank you very much for your time. You mentioned that your mother, as a result of these unplanned power cuts, you had to take her to the hospital.
Yes, my mom, Mary, she suffers from COPD, so she's chronic pulmonary lung disease. She's on oxygen 24 hours a day. She was rushed to hospital a few weeks ago due to these unplanned power cuts. The inverter failed. There was no oxygen supply. Her oxygen is electricity based. It's I can't even think of the name, but she's totally reliant on oxygen. She doesn't use the gas cylinders, so we had to rush her through because she can't keep warm. She got double pneumonia. She's been rushed to hospital. She's on oxygen there 24/7. They're treating her for a double pneumonia, and I can't bring her home because this is now the third day again, second week running, that we don't have any electricity on the property and we don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, and she's critically ill.
I can imagine. So has there been any communication from maybe City Power, or power utility, just to inform you about, these unplanned outages so that you perhaps prepare yourselves for such?
Well, we've got the Eskom push where it tells you that, you're having your normal load shedding, but we don't get informed of the unplanned cuts. The power just doesn't come back on after load shedding. We're stuck with not knowing anything. They don't inform us. They don't tell us. We log tickets. We ask them what's going on. They say they've sent a team out to investigate. Then we got notified that City Power had actually let go all of their qualified electricians. So there were no private contractors. There were no electricians. There's nobody to come out and assess the damage. There's no one to come out and repair the damage. So we are basically sitting here in the dark. We don't know what to do. Do we now, as the public, go out ourselves and hire private electricians to come out and try and sort the problem out? Will they be allowed access to the substations? We don't know. We're not getting any answers from anyone.
Now, you spoke about, trying to find other alternative means of power, and that is obviously solar power, and how costly that is to you.
Well, solar power to run a house my size, an average 3-bedroom, four family home is going to cost in the region of 250,000 Rand. That is something that most of us cannot afford. We barely make it as it is, living the way we are living day to day. We all work, we all scraping together whatever we can just so that we can survive, and to now add on an extra 250,000 Rand onto debts that I'm sure all of us have got due to all of this, because we've got to buy inverters, we've got to buy solar power, we've got to buy generators. The cost of the diesel fuel for the diesel generators is astronomical. We can't get gas generators because, for example, myself, my mom, with her being on oxygen, you can't have gas in the house. We want to heat water up. I have to go outside and use a gas bottle to heat up water just to make a cup of coffee, or even just to have a wash. And in this cold weather, that is why my mom is in hospital.
Mm-hmm. And now, looking at the fact that you don't know when this is going to end, then your mom will most probably be kept at the hospital until a solution is found to this problem.
Probably indefinitely. We're busy trying to sort out solar power for Mom at the moment, but it's not something that's going to happen overnight. So yes, indefinitely, she's going to end up being in hospital until I can know that I can bring her home and she's going to be safe here and cared for. And she's not the only one suffering like this. There are many elderly people that are on oxygen that are actually dying, and we don't even know about it. Because how many of these elderly people don't have family members that would, bother to care for them?
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time, ma'am. You can see that, people are immensely affected by these unplanned power outages. She really stressed out how she's feeling about the fact that, she had to take her mum to the hospital because at this point